So it looks like English voice actors are finally getting tired of the whole Hoyoverse strike, the bullying into not taking recasts for certain roles, the terrible PR with the fans, and just everything with that whole situation. And voice actors for Hoyoverse games, so Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero, started striking more than a year ago because they had concerns about AI taking their roles. Or at least that's what they had people believe. They said that they were striking because they wanted AI protections. So a bunch of time went by and patches were getting released in Genshin Impact that had unvoiced characters in the English version. And logically, right, MiHoYo saw that these guys probably weren't going to come back, so they started looking to recasting some of these positions. And this is when the whole situation went viral, was when they recast the position for Kinich. A VA named Jacob Takanashi was the person chosen for this recast, and under his tweet announcing he would be the new VA for Kinich, there were a bunch of SAG Aftra people who were also English VAs for Genshin Impact, basically calling him a terrible person, a scab, saying that he shouldn't have taken the role or he should have taken it uncredited, how he's hurting the cause by taking this role, and just genuinely molding because a guy dared to take a position that somebody left completely vacant. Now initially I feel like a lot of the Hoyoverse fandom was on these guys' side. They were thinking, hey, just sign a contract that says that these guys will be protected from AI voicing so that they have job security and maybe pay them a little bit more, you know, what's the issue? But after this particular event, people actually started looking deeper into exactly what it is that they want, what the SAG Aftra contract is that they're trying to have Hoyoverse sign, VAs like Paimon's VA, Corinna Butker, just being completely disrespectful and dismissive of fan concerns, and effectively exposing themselves for just being money hungry and wanting to kick out any non-union talent trying to voice in these games, and forcing Hoyoverse into a contract that would make them pay these guys way more money and only accept union workers. The thing is, these SAG Aftra VAs all wanted people to believe that they were part of some benevolent organization whose only desire was to help out the downtrodden voice actors and make sure that they had a position in the space, make sure that they're able to make a living from their work and not be at risk of being replaced by AI voicing. But that image that they tried to carry couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, they operate more like a cult, trying to take over any industry, any game that they can, and their objective is basically to shut down any project that they can until they can force the people running that project to sign a contract which effectively says, you can only hire union workers from SAG Aftra and you're going to pay us way more money. And you will hear SAG Aftra voice actors talking about the AI protections as a major reason for the strike. But just know that that's clearly a front for their real intentions, which is to block out non-union talent, as well as receiving higher pay and benefits like healthcare and pensions. When we take a look at how Hoyoverse sources the voice actors for their games, they utilize talent agencies, Side Global for Genshin Impact and Sound Cadence for Zenless Zone Zero. And from the looks of it, Sound Cadence is very clearly against AI voice acting. Yet you had SAG Aftra members striking that were part of the Zenless Zone Zero English voice acting team who were recently recast because they decided not to come back and do their job. If this were actually about having protections from AI voice acting taking their roles, then they would have never stopped voicing for Zenless Zone Zero. So the whole reason for the strike was just a facade for wanting to make more money and have complete control over the voice acting roles in the Hoyoverse games. But Hoyoverse didn't buckle, and instead of signing SAG Aftra's terribly disadvantageous contract, they rightfully just decided to start recasting roles for voice actors who decided they weren't going to work anymore. Hoyoverse has gone ahead and recast the main characters for Honkai Star Rail, the Trailblazers, and before that in Zenless Zone Zero, the English voice actors for Colida, Grace, and Rina were replaced. So the SAG Aftra strategy of bully the corpo into complying with our demands and signing a contract that isn't advantageous to them doesn't seem to be working very well. Which also means hilariously that union VAs like Paimon's VA, Corinna Butker, have been breaking SAG Aftra's cherished Global Rule 1, which states that SAG Aftra union members are not allowed to work on non-union projects. But it's okay when Corinna does it because the sun was in her eyes and her feet hurt and she has some kind of disability and she needs money, unlike all the other people that voice act. But maybe we should get another perspective, right? Let's take a look at what Kaylee Mills, the voice actress for Kuching in Genshin Impact, has to say on the situation. There seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about why actors are either striking, not working, or choosing to go in. I'm not posting this to give my opinion, only to share facts with you based on multiple conversations I've had with several of my fellow actors. Already off to a great start, as you can see. Get ready for the rest of this word salad. First of all, the dictionary definition of a strike is as follows: a refusal to work organized by a body of employees as a form of protest. typically in an attempt to gain a concession or concessions from their employer. In other words, both the current SAG strike and any unrelated collective refusal of work are technically strikes. For the sake of clarity, however, I will refer to SAG strike as the strike and anything else as a withholding of work. Let's also discuss SAG's Global Rule 1 very briefly. Actors who are a part of the union are not supposed to work on non-union games. However, 80% of work is non-union, and SAG has generally turned a blind eye to this rule breaking, understanding that we need to pay rent and eat. Oh man, we need to pay rent and eat now, so we need to pay rent and eat so we can break SAG Aftra Global Rule 1 and work for games that aren't union. But when Jacob Takanashi takes the recast role of Kinich, he's a super villain. He's not allowed to want to pay rent and take care of his kid and live. Why, he could have done something else. He could have taken a different role. He's a scab, a bad person. They don't like it hurts our collective bargaining power, but they have tolerated it. Oh man, how gracious of the overlords at SAG Aftra to tolerate that you would work on a game that is non-union. Next, you'll praise them for letting you be a part of their coveted organization, right? I mean, this is so ridiculous. Now, I've seen a lot of speculation by fans about why actors are not going in. Some of them are close to correct. Many are outright wrong. We just don't want to work and get paid, really? Well, apparently not, or else you'd be out there doing your job. But none of the guesses are correct about every single person, because the truth is, different actors are withholding work for different reasons. That's right, actors aren't lying to you, they all have different and sometimes multiple reasons. Here are some of the possible reasons actors may withhold work from a non-officially struck game. Reason 1. Actors have asked for AI protections to be added to the existing non-union contracts and the client or studio has refused. Reason 2. SAG actors who previously broke GR1 to work on a non-union game are refusing to work during the strike on any non-union game to strengthen collective bargaining. Reason 3. SAG Aftra or FICOR actors are withholding work until the client agrees to sign the interim agreement and go union, either for healthcare, pension, retirement, legal protection, or most likely all of the above. I love how flowery she makes it sound, but she forgets the part where you're not allowed to work for any of these companies anymore if you're non-union. Also, pensions, retirements, healthcare. She's acting like these guys are full-time employees at Hoyoverse. Reason 4. SAG actors who were comfortable continuing to work regardless may have been warned by SAG about breaking Global Rule 1. Well, we can't have that. Your union overlords at SAG might just kick you out of the organization for doing your job, and of course they'll be keeping your $3,000 fee that you paid them to join. Reason 5. Non-union actors are choosing to withhold work in solidarity. If that isn't the most BS phrase I've read in this entire situation. Non-union actors, meaning they don't want to join your cult over at SAG Aftra, deciding that they want to not get paid to do work out of solidarity with you clowns? That's never the reason. They're probably just afraid of being attacked and dragged through the mud online, or you vowing not to associate with them at all ever again, or blacklisting them from other projects because they decided to take a position that was left by some striking union member, which again is exactly what Jacob Takanashi did. All the VAs under his post ridiculing him is exactly what happens when a guy takes a recast role. So why are some actors still working? Reason 1. They don't feel like AI protections are a requirement for them, or don't feel like it's enough of a threat to stop working. Or they feel there's nothing that can protect us at this point, and that going in will make no difference. Or maybe they know that the entire AI protections concern that's a part of the strike is just a facade for what SAG Aftra union members really want, and they're not really concerned about being replaced by AI because they know that it's not going to happen. Reason 2. Money. Simple. Life's tough and they can't afford to hold out because AI feels like tomorrow's problem and the bills are due today. Or the opportunity feels too big to pass up. Reason 3. They live in a place, like California, where there is some semblance of AI protections in law that they feel are substantial enough. Again, with the AI this, AI that, trying to make it seem like that's the real reason for this strike happening. And that reason 3 doesn't make any sense either. I mean, MiHoYo is a Chinese company. I imagine they're not going to do this, but if they did decide to replace voice actors with AI voices, I'd love to know what exactly California laws are going to do to stop that from happening. There are probably even more reasons for each and more nuance to any given reason, but these cover the majority of situations I've discussed with others. The takeaway? This is all so much more nuanced than drama tubers and perhaps fellow disgruntled fans make it out to be. Actors are stuck between being terrified of the direction our industry is headed and wanting to work and create and give voices to the characters you love. The current state of the industry industry and a fan opinion is heartbreaking for all of us. Heartbreaking for you, maybe. I'm playing the game in Japanese. Kitamura Eri clears Kaylee Mills, no diff, and the reason why fan sentiment is soured on you SAG Aftra goons is because they know that you're lying. It's more about money, benefits, and control than it ever was about AI protections. So please, have a little more faith in us. We love what we do. We want to make the fans happy. We want to work. We are all doing our best with the information we have within our individual circumstances. At the very least, try to see us as human beings. So Mugen responds to this tweet saying there's nothing to explain because at the end of the day, SAG Aftra treats voice actors like expendable toilet paper. More are starting to realize this, especially after their most recent stunt. And it leads to a tweet that says this: all of SAG Aftra membership got to vote on the interactive strike authorization. And now, even after receiving the last, best, and final offer, SAG is saying they are still negotiating. No, you aren't. It's done. The deal is good. Now let us vote to end this strike. And this guy is the voice of Capitano from Genshin Impact. So it's good to see people are seeing SAG for what it is, and the sentiment is really turning against them now. And we're actually seeing a rise in discontent from the voice actors who have to deal with all the SAG Aftra antics. Like this post from Allegra Clark, which says, they made a cheeky little correction this morning to confirm that employers are holding to it. Actually, sorry, it's time to end this thing. AAA productions are actively moving overseas because there's no signed contract to work on. I hate it here. This is a strike where people are gleefully reporting each other to SAG for working non-union, where the idea of non-union actors who work non-union during the strike may be denied membership in the future is being thrown around in actor spaces. This stuff is petty. Some of the most loving and professional people I know are being written off as employer plants for trying to encourage people to understand the language for themselves. Hardworking, established talent are being called elites disparagingly for wanting to go back to work. So this situation just seems to be getting worse for all of the people involved. And at this point, what I can see happening is Hoyoverse deciding to completely recast all of the striking VA roles for their games, which would mean that some VAs who won't work for a non-union project won't be working on any project. I think it's common sense. I mean, most people, they don't work for a week or a couple of weeks and they lose their job. These VAs are in a position to decide that they're not going to work for a year and still keep their position and somehow still have money. I don't think there's that many people that are going to feel bad for them. I mean, in the first place, if you have $3,000 to go spend to join a union, you probably have a little bit of cash in the bank. But that's all the updates that I have for this video. If there's anything else that happens in this SAG Aftra Hoyoverse situation, then I will make an update on it. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Helps me make more videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.